You know that specific kind of quiet? The one that settles in around 9 p.m. on a Tuesday. You're sitting right next to them, but you feel miles away. Maybe you just had an argument about something small, whose turn it was to do the dishes, or why they forgot to text back. But now, the air feels thin, heavy, and inside your head, a voice starts whispering things you're too afraid to say out loud. Why does this keep happening? Did I make a mistake choosing them? Am I too much? Or am I not enough? If I bring this up, will they pull away again? Maybe I should just end it before it gets worse. You feel that knot in your stomach, that urge to push them away before they can leave you. Or maybe the urge to cling tighter, demanding reassurance until they have nothing left to give. Here is the truth nobody tells you. The relationship didn't get harder because your love faded. It got harder because your safety did. You aren't failing at love. You aren't broken. And you certainly didn't choose the wrong person just because it feels like work right now. Every couple that has ever loved each other deeply has stood exactly where you are standing. Standing on the edge of their own nervous system, terrified that if they move, everything will shatter. By the end of this video, you won't just understand why you do this. You'll understand how to stop fighting your own biology and start building a connection that feels like home, not a battlefield. Let's get into it. Most couples believe that self-sabotage is a character flaw. They think, I'm just anxious, or I'm just avoidant, or we're just incompatible. They believe that if they could just communicate better or find the right partner, the fear would disappear. But the real truth is much deeper. Self-sabotage isn't a mistake. It's a protection strategy. Your nervous system is reading your partner long before your mind can catch up. When you feel that sudden urge to pick a fight, to withdraw into silence, or to test their love by pushing them away, your brain isn't trying to ruin your relationship. It's trying to save you from pain. See, when safety leaves a relationship, love doesn't disappear. It goes underground. It hides behind walls of defensiveness and preemptive strikes. What looks like stonewalling is usually someone who has been so overwhelmed for so long that silence is the only protection they have left. What looks like needy clinging is often a nervous system screaming for regulation because it feels alone in the dark. This isn't about incompatibility. It's about the anxious avoidance cycle playing out between two people who both want the same thing: to be seen, to be safe, and to be loved without having to earn it every single day. Trying harder without changing the emotional tone just makes a disconnected partner withdraw further. Criticism, even when delivered calmly, always feels like rejection to the person receiving it. Because beneath the surface, you aren't fighting about the dishes. You're fighting for your sense of security. Once you see this, everything changes. You stop seeing your partner as the enemy, and you stop seeing yourself as the problem. You start seeing the pattern, and patterns can be changed. Here's the part no one talks about. Most people in relationships don't sabotage because they want to lose love. They sabotage because they're terrified of losing control. Most couples fall into the trap of the preemptive strike. This is when you pick a fight, create distance, or find a flaw in your partner before they have a chance to hurt you. It feels like power, but it's actually panic. The deeper truth here is that your attachment system is scanning for danger. If you have an anxious history, your brain interprets intimacy as a threat because intimacy means vulnerability, and vulnerability means you can be hurt. So, you strike first. You criticize their tone. You bring up past mistakes. You create a crisis so you can manage the outcome. Let's look at how this plays out. In the disconnecting version, You feel a slight shift in their energy. Maybe they're quiet after work. Your brain says, "They're pulling away. They're angry. Do something." So you say, "You've been ignoring me all night. Do you even care about us anymore?" They shut down. You feel vindicated, but lonely. The wall goes up. But in the connecting version, you feel that same shift, that same spike of anxiety. But instead of acting on it, you pause. You name it internally. "I'm feeling scared right now. I'm interpreting their silence as rejection." Then you say, "Hey, I'm feeling a little disconnected tonight. I'd love to just sit with you for a minute. No pressure to talk." And when you do that, the walls between you start to come down without either of you having to say a word. You move from defending against a threat to inviting in a partner. This is where it gets really interesting. Most couples believe that if a relationship is meant to be, it should feel effortless. They think conflict is a sign of failure. So when things get hard, they assume they've chosen the wrong person. But here's the truth beneath the surface. Effortless relationships are usually just superficial ones. Real intimacy requires friction. It requires the messy, uncomfortable work of repairing ruptures. When you self-sabotage by fantasizing about an easier life with someone else, you aren't longing for a better partner. You're longing for relief from the anxiety of being known. Your nervous system is tired. It wants the dopamine hit of the honeymoon phase, not the oxytocin depth of long-term bonding. In the disconnecting version, you're in a tough patch. Arguments feel frequent. You scroll through social media seeing couples who look happy. You think, "Look at them. They never fight. If I were with someone like that, I wouldn't feel this exhausted." You start emotionally checking out, keeping one foot out the door. But in the connecting version, you're in that same tough patch. But you remind yourself, this discomfort is growth. We are learning how to navigate each other's triggers. You say to your partner, "This is hard right now, but I'm not going anywhere. I want to figure this out with you." That's the shift that turns a relationship that feels like a negotiation into one that feels like a refuge. You stop running from the work and start finding safety in the repair. Not louder conversations, not more compromising, not scheduling a weekly check-in, but two people who actually feel safe enough to be honest with each other for the first time in years. Most people in relationships unconsciously set traps for their partners. This is the test of love. You withhold affection, or you act cold, or you create a scenario where they must prove they care. If they pass, you feel safe for a moment. If they fail, you feel confirmed in your belief that you're unlovable. The psychological truth? You cannot test someone into loving you. Tests create performance, not intimacy. When you test, you force your partner to walk on eggshells, and eventually, they stop walking altogether. In the disconnecting version, you're feeling insecure. Instead of saying it, you cancel plans last minute to see if they'll chase you, or you reply to texts with one word to see if they'll try harder. When they pull back, confused or hurt, you think, "See, they don't really want me." But in the connecting version, you feel that insecurity rising. You recognize it as a need for reassurance, not a command to play games. You say, "I'm having a rough day and feeling a bit insecure. I could really use a hug or some kind words right now." Her brain is quietly registering, "He actually heard me this time. I don't have to guess." Something in him is saying, "She doesn't need me to fix this. She just needs me to stay. That's when your partner stops feeling like a problem to manage and starts feeling like a person to come home to. Here's what nobody explains. For many of us, especially those with avoidant tendencies, independence feels like safety. Dependence feels like suffocation. So, you self-sabotage by overvaluing your autonomy and undervaluing your connection. Most couples drift apart not because they stop caring, but because they stop being curious about each other. They build parallel lives instead of an intertwined one. You tell yourself, I don't need them. I'm fine on my own. But that's not strength. That's isolation disguised as strength. The deeper truth is that humans are wired for co-regulation. Your nervous system literally calms down when you are in the presence of a safe, attuned partner. By pushing them away to maintain independence, you are denying your biology its primary source of comfort. In the disconnecting version, your partner wants to spend the weekend together. You feel trapped. You say, I need space. I'm going to go do my own thing. Don't take it personally. You spend the weekend distracted, checking your phone, feeling guilty but relieved. They feel rejected. You feel lonely. But in the connecting version, you feel that same urge to pull away. But you recognize it as a need for regulation, not escape. You say, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed and need some quiet time to recharge. Can we take a few hours apart and then have dinner together tonight? I want to connect, but I need to reset first. What's moving through her is, I forgot how good it feels to be chosen, even when he needs space. You honor your need for space without sacrificing the bond, and that balance creates a rhythm that sustains love for decades. And here's what changes everything. The ultimate form of self-sabotage isn't fighting or leaving, it's hiding. Most couples live in a state of partial visibility. They show their best selves, their polished selves, their easygoing selves, but they hide the parts that feel shameful, needy, or dark. Because they believe, if they really knew me, they wouldn't love me. So you sabotage intimacy by keeping it surface level. You joke instead of sharing. You distract instead of connecting. You keep the relationship in the shallow end, so you never have to risk drowning in the deep. But intimacy isn't built in the big moments. It's built in the 30-second ones, when you choose to look up and be real. When you let them see the crack in the armor. In the disconnecting version, you're struggling with something deep, maybe career failure or family trauma. Your partner asks, how are you really doing? You say, I'm fine, just tired. You change the subject. The moment passes. The distance grows. But in the connecting version, they ask the same question. You feel the fear, the urge to deflect. But you take a breath. You say, honestly, I'm struggling. I feel like I'm failing at work, and it's making me feel inadequate. I'm scared you'll see me differently. Your partner's nervous system shifts from judgment to compassion. They lean in. I'm here. You're not alone in this. That's the shift. Real intimacy doesn't start when you find the right person. It starts when you decide to become one. Someone who is brave enough to be seen. This isn't a checklist. It's an invitation to show up differently. To stop reacting to your fears and start responding to your values. When you internalize this, you stop seeing self-sabotage as a curse. You see it as a signal that you're growing, that you're ready for a deeper level of love than you've ever known. These aren't tips for a better relationship. They're the beginning of becoming the kind of partner you always wanted someone to be for you. Secure, present, real. Your partner will feel the difference before you've even said a word, because safety is contagious. And when you become safe, you give them permission to be safe too. Love isn't what you fall into. It's what you build. Every single day. On purpose. Even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. If this resonated with you, if you felt seen in any of these points, I want you to do one thing. Don't just click away. Take one of these insights, just one, and share it with your partner tonight. Or write it down for yourself. Start the repair. And if you're ready to go deeper into understanding your attachment style and how to break these cycles for good, check out the video linked here. It's the next step in building the relationship you deserve. Thanks for watching. Keep showing up. Keep choosing love.